Hello, Bill. I oh, okay. It muted me, but I can't turn on video. Perfect. Okay. It says you cannot start your video because the host has stopped it. So we're getting closer. No worries. Zoom has its moments too, so it's all good. Let me see if it'll let me start video now. No, still won't. Okay, perfect. Let's see if it will. Okay, let's go to try again. There we go. There we go. Hello, everybody. No worries. And I do see Q&A is on, but just in case, if Bill, if you get a chance to turn on chat, because I do like to customize everything for everybody here, happy to do that. But I'm going to keep both the chat window, chat bubble, and the Q&A bubble open. All right, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you, Bill, so much for the wonderful introduction. I'm excited to be here with SCORE and I'm excited to share with you. So let me go ahead and share my screen right now. You're going to see two of me as I do this, okay? Just so you're aware. Let's see. Oh, hold on. It's getting some pop-ups here that I can't get past. Hold on just a second. There we go. There we go. All right. You should still be able to see me. Okay, I'm getting verification from Zoom. You can still see me. We're going to be talking about how you can make your website work for you. So more important than seeing me is going to be seeing the slides. So let me share with you how you can get a copy of today's slides. That is using this link, bit.ly/Google Maria. Bit.ly is case sensitive, so you do have to keep everything lowercase, just like it shows you here in the URL, or you can use that QR code. Just snap a picture of it and you're ready to go. I know chat is disabled. I don't, there we go. I see it now. We've got it now. We're in business. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that because you can get a copy of today's slides and the handout right there available to you while the session is happening. So let me drop that real quick. I am typing it out, so let me pay attention for a moment so I don't put a typo in there and send you some random place or nowhere. But now you can get a copy of today's slides and the handout, and you might want to use that to follow along as you listen to the recording of this. So do know that you're going to get a copy of the recording. And of course, you have your amazing SCORE counselors to work with if you have any questions. So that's what I'm excited about, is because SCORE is super invested in your success. They truly do believe in the power of a small business being successful and what that means to the community, to families, to neighbors. That is everything. And that is what I love about working with SCORE, because these are people who have first great experience, and there's so much value in other people's experience, as well as they are vested in your success. So you put that combination together and they are there in your local community, knowing who the local vendors are, the local people. So keep that in mind. Now do find the chat box. The chat box is now enabled, so I am not going to spend as much time looking at the Q&A unless somebody has a question in there, but the chat box is the best place to focus on. And do know that even though the chat box can take a lot of information, and I will customize everything for the people here in the room, do know that if it takes about a sentence to write it, then it takes about a minute for me to read it, and all you get to see is the top of my head, which is not a great learning experience. So I'll save those to the very end, okay? This is who I am. So just like Bill was talking about, I have digital marketing experience, and even specifically within the last 15 years, international e-commerce experience. So I'm here, I am live, I'm right here with you, able to answer your questions. Just find that chat box. So that's the first order of business. There's a couple of hundred of you in here, and I would love for you to shout out your business in the chat box. So if it wasn't enabled for you to before, try it again because it is now out there for everybody. And I put the link so you could get a copy of today's slides, and it'll be available to you there while we are in session. After the session, it won't be available, but not to worry. It will be emailed to you. We're going to be talking today about how you can make your website work for you. Now, I've got a lot to cover. We're already 11 minutes into the hour, so let's go ahead and get into it. But do know that I come from a small business background, so I do understand what it's like to be butcher, baker, and candlestick maker in your business. This and everything that you're doing is that you're trying to take care of business as well as market, and now you have to deal with a website. And websites are very important because this is location, location, location. If you remember retail, when we first got started in retail, that's what you'd always hear. Location is it, it's everything. Well, this is location because 84% of us go to this little thing, this mobile device, that 4.5-inch screen is where we go first when we want to know, go, do, or buy. We rarely walk into a showroom floor or go look at anything until we've done some research on that little device. So if you want to know anything about growing with small business, use that blue link there at the very middle. Of course, utilize and reach out to your SCORE counselors and your SCORE chapter. And if you want to connect with me, you can find me on Twitter or X. That's the first handle you see there, at Maria Duron, D-U-R-O-N, or on Instagram at Marketing Coach Maria. And if you want to use the hashtag Grow with Google and even tag me, I would love it, because then I would have a chance to share you in my stories and retweet you and get you a little bit more visibility, because you never know who somebody is, who they'll become, or who they influence. Okay? So is chat still disabled, Michael? I see your comments in there and it looks like it's still disabled. Is it? No, you don't have to use a phone. You don't have to use a phone to get the paperwork at all. Just use the link. You can do that right there in an actual desktop. So no reason to use a phone. That's just a QR code to make it easier for those who, but you do see that I gave you a couple ways to get there. Yeah, everybody's still saying chat is still disabled. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to put this, let me see if I can put this answer. Okay, so I'm going to put the link here. Answer the question live. It's not letting me. Let me go back to the link just because you're going to have to type it out. Sorry, guys. I like to usually put it in the chat so you can just click on it, make it a whole lot easier. But there is the link. You'll see it again. If you don't want to use your phone, that's cool. Use https://bit.ly/Google Maria, and you can get it right there. All right. Everybody see that good then? Let me leave it there for just a minute and then we're going to go ahead and dive in. If I have a camera app, for how can I still make my website valuable? You could still make your website valuable as a camera app for global users. Yes. And we actually do a whole session on Global Market Finder. So I'm going to cover some of that today. This is not app related, but definitely we have sessions about that. So make sure you get with your SCORE counselor so I can come back and talk to you specifically about that. All right, Nishant? But when you are on desktop or laptop, you do need a website. And even those who are building websites now know that you need a mobile site first. Even Amazon will build for mobile first. And then if they have additional time, energy, and money, they will build for desktop, because people are going to mobile first. Yes, that's a colon that should be there. Should be a colon. If you saw it in the chat, then you saw that I made a typo and I put a semicolon. Did somebody see it in the chat? Because I love that. If you did, then that means the chat is working for you guys, and that makes it a whole lot easier and more of the environment that I like to teach in. So if you found that, Laurel, would you let me know? Because if it did work, would you let me know and ping me in the chat there? Or to everybody, because I do see that. I still have the chat up, but I have Q&A up, which just is a little bit messy to read through, but I don't want you to not feel that you're listened to, okay? Because this is your session. All right, Laurel, let me know that if you're able to do that. All right, let's go ahead and dive in, because now we know people go to a actual website first. They've got to look at it, and they're going to look at their mobile first and foremost. As I said, 84%. As I look at Google Analytics of several sites, and Google even looks at it, we see that people are utilizing mobile first and foremost. Now, they may use a lot of devices, but they start out on mobile. So as we look at a website, A lot of people think website design and making a website work for them is just the graphics. So if you look at the left side, you'll see graphics there. That is the very top icon there towards the middle of the page, or middle top of the page. Then you see colors and you see fonts, and they think that's all there is. But that's not all there is. There is functionality, the layout. Are you making it nice and easy for people to buy from you? Because that's on us. We have to be experts on our customers, and we need to make it super easy for them to buy from us. And do you have content that resonates with them? Is it important to them? Again, if you have content that's not connecting with your buyer, excuse me, it's not really understanding where they're at in the funnel. Excuse me, sorry about that. Just got a little frog in my throat there. But if it's not at all where they're at in the funnel, or where they're at and you don't understand buyer awareness, then you could miss out. It doesn't matter how amazing the content is. If it doesn't hit, then it doesn't matter. So it's important for us to know that our website needs to be goal oriented. What do you want your website to do? Just like Nishant was telling me, he has a camera app for global users. So what do you want your users to do? Nishant, do you want them to download it? Is that what you want them to do? What does success look like, sound like, and feel like for you? Only you know your goals. Is it search friendly? Because if the search engine can't see you, it doesn't feel like you're a real business. It maybe feels like you're a phishing site or something that it just cannot see, because you just hoped and put your website online and hope that Google will find you instead of entering your website into Google's library. So Google's not the World Wide Web, but it is the biggest library of the World Wide Web. And if you just hope to post something and find it, while hope is wonderful to have, it's a poor strategy. Is it convenient? Do we make it easy for people to get around and to be able to go through our site and do things like making it easy for them to buy from us? And even though I utilize the word buy, do know that I mean a success action, a conversion action. So if you're a nonprofit, buy might mean that somebody signs up to be a volunteer, or they're a friend raiser, or they're a sponsor. If you are somebody who is building your authority, so it could be that they're downloading your PDF, they're reading your book, they're watching your videos, maybe they're filling out the contact form, or if you're an e-commerce shop, then they're actually buying from you. They're actually trading money for your actual product, service, or solution. Is it organized? Is it easy to get around? Whenever I poll audiences, and I've been in front of thousands, either from stage or in webinar, and they will tell me the number one reason they leave a website is because it's a hot mess. People like to use their actual home page as the dumping ground to just throw everything, because people get excited. And I've sat across from many small business owners who tell me, oh my gosh, Maria, I got somebody to my site. I just want to show them everything because they might need this and they might need this. And it becomes a hot mess junk drawer as the first experience, and they will leave instantly because they can't find what they're looking for. So it's really important that we build that trust and confidence, not just in the people visiting our site, but also in the search engine, by taking them where we told them we're going to take them. And then, is it trustworthy? Can you really feel like this is working? Sure, if your chat's not working, Dwayne, don't worry. Use the Q&A. That's what we're going to have to use right now. I just got excited because I saw Laurel said she saw a semicolon in there, which I only did that in the chat. On the actual slides, it is actually a colon. So I knew that she was able to see that. I was just curious if you were able to do that, but not to worry, Dwayne. Use the Q&A. I'm just going to have to actively scroll there, so it's not as easy to use or as interactive as the chat, but I will use it. So feel free to do that. We're flexible, right? We make everything work. So a great website is goal oriented. You heard me talk about that. Why does your website exist? So use the Q&A, unless you do get the chat to come up for you. Use the Q&A and let me know, why do you have a website? Is it to build your brand? You're really going for brand authority. You want people to know who you are, either yourself as your personal brand or your business brand. Is it that it's to generate leads? So this is the business. It's supposed to be able to get that so you can make contact, because you know that your site's not going to sell them, but you need to talk to them and explain and sell that to them. Is it to make sales? So it's an e-commerce site that's actually to sell things, maybe even maintenance plans. So e-commerce doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be product based. It can be an accountant selling a monthly monthly service fee to take care of all your bookkeeping? Is it attracting employees? So it's really got to be more authoritative and really talking about the culture and benefit of your organization. Or is it to provide support? Maybe you're a plumber and you want to teach people about what they need to do to maintain the health of their drain in between the maintenance time. So you're providing support there in video or even chat bots that provide answers to questions. Okay. So, who and really understanding that purpose of your website's important. Too many people try to make their website do everything. And understand if your messaging is about everything, then it's very confusing and it becomes overwhelming. You've seen that when you talk to people and you ask them, hey, do you know anybody who does this? And they just blank. It's because we know too many people. There's a log jam or a bottleneck at the bottom of the brainstem and they can't connect it because it's way too much for them to think about. The same thing here. If you don't know who your audience is, then you are writing to everybody. And if you're writing to everybody, guess what? You're a commodity. There's nothing unique and nothing different. Your content needs to be hyper focused on your best customer. Now, I have sat across from many businesses who said, whoa, Maria, but I can serve anybody who fogs a mirror. Do you know that? That's just code for that I don't know who I serve. I hope you do. So it's really important that we know who our target audience is. That does not mean that we can't serve everybody else. But if we target anybody, everybody, and somebody, we'll get their second cousin, nobody. It is too large, and you don't have Coca-Cola type money to consistently keep on messaging people so they finally realize that you might be able to help them. Your messaging, your content, from your videos to your photos to the content, the actual text, all need to be focused on that best customer. Everybody else is gravy. Can you serve everybody else? Absolutely. But imagine if you focus on that best customer and you add 100 or 1,000 of that best customer. Would that be enough? So know that you do have to have SMART goals. This is really on you. You may have heard of goal setting or goal getting. Whatever you've heard about that, do know that it needs to be SMART tested. That's a 5-point test. That's specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. Yes, Daisy, you're going to get a recording. I see that here. Let me go back here because the Q&A doesn't scroll like the chat does. So I do have to do this manually. Oh, you see the links, but access is just for you. Okay, Dawn, thank you so much for the heads up. See, I got some helpers here. Thank you. So I see to build your brand. You don't have a website yet. Nicole, not to worry. This will stop you from any bad habits, right? You'll already know what you're putting out there. No need to waste time, energy, and money. Generate leads, build my brand and sell things. Perfect. All right. Visibility, platform for the business, generate leads, make sales. But it's not working. So just let's look at that. Let's look at why it's not working. So take yourself through this checklist. And again, the slides will help you as you review the recording, and you are going to get the recording and the slides. They're only accessible now during the session, but I'll provide them again immediately afterwards. I'll send those out to you. Just give me time to upload the video. So that'll just take a little bit of time. So sometime this afternoon by 1 o'clock, don't expect it yet, but a little bit later this afternoon. Okay. If you're on Central Time, that's about the time, but I'm sending it, of course, across all time zones. Leads and sales, build a brand, initiate the sales process. All right, just be careful if you're trying to be all things in your website. If you're trying to do all 6, you can really dilute your messaging, and people don't have time to consume that information. If it doesn't get them right away, they will leave. It may make perfect sense to you, but unless you're meeting them where they have needs and you really are helping them along their decision journey, then you could overwhelm them with information that they don't need right now and they will leave instantly. So this is really important for us to know what we have on our site, what the goal is, and to SMART test all of our goals. So if you look at the examples underneath, there's 3 goal examples. Are they SMART? So do they pass the SMART test? Increase unique website visits by 20% over the next 2 months. Is it specific? Yes, I want to increase website visits. I'm not just saying I want more money. 1 penny is more money. Is it measurable? Yes, I can measure this within Google Analytics or my CMS, my content management system. So how I manage my website, like a Shopify or a WooCommerce or WordPress or Squarespace or Wix, I can measure that. Is it attainable? Well, only you know that. I mean, If you've had good visits, is it realistic that you're going to have 20% over the next 2 months? What are you doing differently now to actually make that happen? Is it relevant? Well, if you are planning to do business utilizing your website, yes, it's relevant. Is it time bound? 2 months. Absolutely. So this passed the SMART test. Understand that if you miss one area of the SMART test, so one area time bound, let's say, is not there, then you will be off in your trajectory to your goal. So it's important that you pass all 5 points of a SMART test. So you need to remember that what is it that you are going to do to measure success, and really know that. And ask yourself what you're doing now to get you closer to your goal. And is what you're doing now actually getting you there? All right. So as we look at those 4 goals, we want to see whether or not these are actually realistic and specific. If we say collect form submissions, how many form submissions? When? So we want it time bound, right? Google Analytics can help you measure that. You'll see at the bottom left-hand corner, this is 100% free, by the way. Everything that I'm talking about today is 100% free, available to you through a free personal Gmail or free Google account. So you don't have to have a Gmail account. If you don't want one, all you need to do is start a Google account, a free Google account. You'll create using your current email address. It doesn't change it to Gmail. Create a password, and like any other password protected site online, this is how you'll access it. So you can learn a lot about what people are doing. Understand Google Analytics helps you to understand your customer behavior better. I do a whole session on how you can make better business decisions on analytics, and exactly depending on your goal, what reports you need to look at, because it can be overwhelming when you go into Google Analytics. But do know that it is tracking the behavior, and you want to know that. And it's on us, so it's on you, all of us who have a website, to actually be experts on our customers and to understand what matters most to them. It's not for them to tell us, it's for us to know and apply. And we can apply and learn that by looking at the way they behave on our website. Just like if we had a physical store and they were coming into different aisles or shopping different areas, we would want to know if when they come to aisle 1 and aisle 3 and they just leave, if there's something that's not enticing them, or when they go from aisle 1 to aisle 4 to aisle 3 and then leave, is there something encouraging them? It's the same thing with a website. They come into page 1 and page 3 or page 4. What are the different behaviors that is really helping them on their decision journey? So how you can utilize analytics is right there on that left-hand side. Use those bullet points. You can get started. Again, your actual score counselor can help you with that. And I can do a whole session on making better business decisions utilizing analytics. All right. So there's some long questions in here. Just understand, I'm going to save those to the end and maybe ask you to do that, to actually put it again if we get lost in the feed. Just because, as I said, if it's longer than a sentence, then it takes about a minute to read, which is a minute of silence. That's a long time on an actual stream. Generate leads. Oh, I see this. Okay, great. Again, Stacy, no worries. Now you won't have those bad habits. There's nothing worse than having to do something and then to redo it, right? We don't want to ever have to do that. Is having an email subscription necessary to be successful? Depends on your business and depends on the goal. Emails are definitely very, very profitable. One of the most profitable forms of marketing, but only if you do it right. And a lot of people don't. Okay. And we can cover that too. I actually cover that in Thriving with E-commerce, and the actual second part of this. So there's a part 2 of this where I do cover that. So in your Google Analytics, you can see real time what's happening right now. For example, let's say I just launched an email campaign, just like Michaela was asking about. Would I want to know that it worked? Yes, because if I just launched it, then I can see in real time who's on my site right now and where they came from and where they're located. I can see a lot of information. I can also see the life cycle. Did they come in from the newsletter, or did they come in on Facebook? Did they look at my site, look page 1 and 3 and read our return policy? Or it could be that they came to our site, they went to Facebook for credibility, so they looked at Meta to make sure that we're a real business and we've got some credibility. They looked at Google reviews and they hightailed it over to our competitor. So I can take a look at all that depending on how I actually put events and tags into my website. So you can see there's a lot actually there, a lot of robust information that we can know to help us really become experts and our customer. So a great website also needs to be search friendly, okay? Let me see, did I cover everything there? Yep, you can look at monetization, you could look at abandoned cart. I'm not going to cover that right now unless somebody asks me towards the end. But you can look at abandoned cart and abandoned checkout. Those are two different behaviors, they mean two different things. And you can actually look at the demographics in tech because maybe, just like Nishant was talking about, maybe for the app, if he's got more iOS, so iPhone users, maybe he doesn't need to spend as much time utilizing Android. So a great website needs to be search friendly. Let me use this as an opportunity here to see if there's any questions. I create another for small business. Yes, if you have a professional and government Gmail account, you can create another free one for small business. Just set up a free Google account. You can go to google.com/accounts, ACCOUNTS, so plural. Go there and you can set up a free Google account. And that is the beauty of a Google account. You can have as many as you want, right? So you could set those up. Well, as many as you have phone numbers for. That's the big thing now. I think we're limiting down with phone numbers. I heard that SEO needs constant updating. Absolutely, it does, because you need to know exactly what people are searching for, and your customers will ebb and flow to the different information available to them and what may be top of mind, maybe even topics that are happening right now. Right now in Texas, so I happen to live in the base of the panhandle of Texas. It is sweltering heat right now. So the topic is air conditioning, but even in June of last year, it was nice and cool at this time. So if we had a nice cool breeze and it was 60 degrees, nobody would be looking at AC right now. So that's the big difference. Sometimes just the actual condition and environment changes what people are searching for. So it's important for us to understand exactly what people are looking for and how that matters to our buyers in their actual decision making process. So this is what search looks like. This is what it looks like on a laptop or desktop. You see that Google business profile hanging out really, really big there. See all that great visual real estate? This is important because people notice things when they're nice and big and they repeatedly see it. So you see text ads there. Usually there's photos at the very top above text ads. Those are shopping ads, so those are different. We cover that in another session. And then you get 10 organic search results. This is on a desktop laptop. You get about 7 to 8 on a mobile screen. Okay, so understand that you need to show up there, because if you're not in the first 7 or 8 searches, then you're not considered an expert at what you do. And that's why it's so important for us as small businesses to really understand how Google search works, because if we can't dominate it, then our competitor will, and we don't get a chance to earn the business. So it's important for us to have a fast load time. How fast? All right. It's real fast, everybody. People are not patient. On a mobile device, right? On mobile, your website that's a brand or, maybe brand authority based needs to load in 1.2 seconds. 1.2 seconds. And on a actual e-commerce site, they give you a little bit more. It needs to load in 1.8 seconds. Do understand that if you do not load in 1.2 or 1.8 seconds, you will lose over half, 53% of your traffic. And for every second over, you'll lose another 10%. So you could be working your butt off, putting out ads there, doing a newsletter, getting people to come in on socials, you're dancing on TikTok, and they come to your site. If it takes more than 1.2 to 1.8 seconds, you'll lose over half, and then you'll lose even more. That's a lot. So load time is so important, and this is very vital to Google. It's also important to have useful content. If your content is not useful, it's seen as generic, copy and paste, not legible, just stuffed with keywords and not really helpful to people, you also will be penalized. Do you know that AI, artificial intelligence search, is definitely powering all of search engines now, not just Google, Bing, any search engine. So we see that, and because of that, it's even more important because the algorithm is much smarter now to find out what people like and what they absolutely don't like. And then utilizing text links, because this is signals to you for people to tell you and self-disclose when they click on a link that something is important to them. Do understand that people don't want to read pages and pages on a small 4.5-inch screen. They want to be able to look and see what they're most interested in and click on it. The best websites that I see working do that so that they really do understand who their customer is by watching their actions. We also need to have page titles. This is a part of search engine optimization, right? Because if the search engine doesn't feel comfortable with you, it's not going to show you high in search. So it needs to feel comfortable and know what you have. So your page titles and descriptions should have important keywords. Now understand, keyword strategy is also changing with the onset of AI. So it's really important, if you are utilizing SEO and a keyword strategy, that you revisit that and you now plan for all the different algorithm changes that are happening. It's also important for an organized site. You heard me say that a while ago, that if your site isn't organized, most people will leave. They do not want a hot mess to try to figure out how to find things. And it needs to look great on all browsers and devices. So they might be using DuckDuckGo, Brave, they might be on iOS, they might be on Mac, they could be on an Android. It needs to adjust to whatever their needs are, because if they have to pinch and zoom or swipe side to side to read or see anything that you put up there, they're not coming back. That's again the whole thing about, if it takes them too much time, they're going to leave. Now, what you see in front of you is the door to Google's library. How many of you, by a show of one in the Q&A, are actually using Google Search Console? Let's see. How would you generate these reports? You'd actually do that in Google Analytics. There are custom reports you can set up and planned reports already there, Antonio. Make sure you get with your score counselor and let them know that you're interested in me coming back to take a deep dive into how you can make better decisions with analytics, because I really deep dive into the reports that you need, because there's a lot in there and we don't have time to waste, right? We need to look at the most important reports, get out and do business. How do you shorten time to load? That's a great question, Esther. So you really need to do a good deep dive into your website. So let me show you how you can do that. First, one of the places is right here, Google Search Console. Because remember what I said, this is the door to Google's library. And it's important for you to look here, because it'll let you know if your site is taking too long with something, or if it's not loading correctly, or it can't even see a page of your site. This is everything. This is the card catalog of the library to let you know whether or not your actual site is seen well with Google, or there are some issues to work on. It tells you so much information. It's 100% free, and yet most businesses don't know how to use this. They just hope that they're going to get Google to find them. And while Googlebot's amazing, it can take 90 to 180 days to actually see a site. And who has that kind of time when they've posted something? We've got to make money, right? Cash flow is king. So let me show you one of the ways, Esther, that you can shorten the time. And I'm going to ask somebody, well, let me go through all the questions real quick. How much of a delay is a website loading is due to the website host? There can be that, Karen. It can be some people, some hosts have you pay for a premium hosting. A lot of times it's the theme. So whatever you picked up that's in the background of your site that's loading there could be slow too. Um, how SEO is used. It's not changing, Julie, how SEO is used. It is changing keyword strategy. Okay, so that's important. Now, can you use bad SEO practices like stuffing things and putting text in the background? No, that's been gone for a while. Google's been aware of it. It's just now faster that it can process information with the algorithm. So that's really important. All right, let me go back to Esther. How do you shorten load time? Okay, I'm going to go to a live demo here. Hold on just a second, because I am switching screens, which also can get a little bit wonky. So everybody, let's cross fingers for a minute. And I am going to go to, hold on. And while I'm doing this, I'm just looking for the first person that will drop their website address in the Q&A. Okay, so let me see the first person that'll do that. Say it really depends. Hosting platforms depends on what you want your site to do. So it depends on the goal of your site. All right, I got Siva Solutions there. Perfect. Thank you, Cedric. You are fast. All right, so let me go ahead and go to a live demo. Let's do this. Now, know that I'm broadcasting, so this is going to take a whole lot slower than what you think it should, just because I am broadcasting and recording at the same time, as well as being picked up by Zoom. So we've got all of this going on, which is taking a little bit of bandwidth and CPU energy. But Cedric, thank you very much for posting that. What I'm doing here is I'm using a free tool called PageSpeed Insights. Know that this is a part of and in your Google Search Console. All right, so what is this showing me here? This is showing me on a mobile device, you're ranking at about 57. The goal is 80. Right? And here's the big thing, Esther, you were asking that question. every panel here is 1 second of time. So this is 1 second load time, 2 second load time, 3 second, 4 second, 5 seconds. So we know in Cedric's site, it's taking 5 seconds to see the whole site. But the good thing is in the first second, we at least see something. I see websites where it's a total of 3 panels here, 3 seconds before anything shows up. So just imagine if it was 3 panels, then let's say you get 10 people to come to your site. So you lose half after the first second. Then now you're down to 5, and then you lose another 10%. So you're down to like 4.5 now, and then you go down to about 4. So that's how that can impact you. And how you can find out, Esther, what's slowing it down is everything here in red that is showing the danger triangle. Click on that, and it'll show you, it's this graphic right here. It needs to be made smaller. The properly sized images are usually the biggest culprit. So you can see how it's telling you to move it smaller. There's also some unused JavaScript on there that needs to be removed from the site. Okay, I'm not going to show that too long there because I just don't want to give away all Cedric's details. But I did want to give you a good review or a good demo. And thank you, Cedric, for letting me play and show and look at your website. So with Google Search Console, you can see how Google sees your site, which is really important because if Google doesn't see your site, that is a problem. All right. So now you want it to see all the pages of your site, and is it seeing the right pages? Because I've gone to websites where publicly facing are pages that they don't even want publicly facing. They thought they retired the pages. So it's really important for you to know that. And if there's any mobile issues, you can go to g.co/search console is how you get there first. And now you can start showing that you're the owner of the website property by going ahead and adding your website property and confirming that. Now, do know if you start with Google Analytics first, sometimes you can already show Google Search Console that you've proven and you've also verified that you're the owner through Google Analytics. And because they're two Google tools talking to each other, that works out a lot better and it can streamline it faster for you to prove that you're the owner. Now, understand that's low-hanging SEO, everybody. The more Google tools you connect, because of course Google has faith in its own tools, that's a stronger signal to the algorithm that you're a real business. When the information on Google Analytics matches your information on Google Business Profile and Google Search Console and actual Google Merchant Center and then YouTube, because that's a Google product. When all of those are all aligned, now Google feels much more confident and it shows you up higher in the search engine results. Because again, we want Google to feel confident. It is the #1 search engine because it gives good information to people and it wants to feel confident in that information that it showcases. That is the reason why it loves to use its tools to verify. Low-hanging SEO, if you haven't connected all your Google tools, do that first before you pay for anything else. Okay? You want to make sure that you're showing up high when people are ready for your product, service, or solution. Does it matter what platform? Does it really matter what website platform you use to host an email management system? Are you talking about email marketing or email management? Because there's some email management systems and tools, Brian, like Constant Contact, MailChimp, Klaviyo, ActiveCampaign. So just let me know a little bit more about the question so I'll have a better response for you. All right, let's see. Any other questions here? Thank you, everybody, for sharing your site. I wish we had all the time to do that. So get with your score counselor, and then I'm happy. I actually do this in our membership because I go through and I look at things for people just because they want me to review it for them. Can you run Google Analytics before you publish your site? No, Portia, it does need to be connected to your site. And just know, Portia, it does not connect to eBay, Amazon, Etsy, because those are all closed loop sites. They have their own insights and they don't like to share information with anyone, even with people who are customers. Sometimes they don't share your customers' contact information, right? All right, let's see. Are there any other questions here? Yeah. So for marketing, for your marketing and email marketing site, your marketing and email marketing program, Brian, or you're using email marketing? Could you just clarify that for me? All right. Your website can also offer ease and convenience. The more helpful information that it provides so people can buy your product, service, or solution, even better. It could be that they make payment processing simple, or they let you know when they actually can pick up things. So it doesn't have to just be e-commerce based. Even local businesses, Main Street America, can take advantage of this because people go first to look to see who has that locally, who has that product in stock or available. And now they start making decisions. Remember, they go first, 84% to a mobile device when they want to take something on. So your design needs to be responsive. That means that it needs to adjust to mobile and to a desktop or a smart TV, just like that, seamlessly. And this is really important because when they have to pinch and zoom or swipe side to side to finish a sentence, that shows that, first of all, you're not mobile responsive. And not only is that a bad experience for somebody shopping with you and they don't come back again. And when I say shopping, it could be that they're reading your information, you're building your brand. So they're not really buying anything. But when they're going through your website and consuming information, if it's difficult for them, they don't come back. Okay, they go on to the next and you lose that opportunity. So you think about all that opportunity loss that could be there just because you have a slow site or it's not mobile responsive. But also, this is a negative penalty that the algorithm assesses because it's not mobile responsive. We are all mobile now, so if you're not mobile responsive, Google will not show you up high. It will actually put you lower in search until you get that corrected. So you can see how you can create grids and vector graphics when you're putting your site. This is where the graphics side is really important because you want to make sure that your site is accessible even to the search engine and to people who are not sighted, who might need the support of a screen reader. You also want to make payment simple. Make it easy for them. All right, Shop Pay, I know this is Shopify. I'm very familiar with the platform when it says Shop Pay, but there's also Amazon Pay, PayPal, and Google Pay. Understand that a lot of businesses don't realize that people buy on their mobile device and on the fly. I mean, I could be in line to pick up my kiddos. I could be asleep at night. It's 2 o'clock in the morning and I should be asleep, but I'm shopping and looking and getting my supplies. If I have to get up and go to my wallet to get my credit card, I'm not going to buy from that site. No, I'm already laid there comfy, or my purse is way back there and I'm in line. I'm not going to reach for it. I am going to utilize where I already have information. So if I already know it's in PayPal or Google Pay or Apple Pay, then I'm going to utilize that tool and go to the site that provides that as opposed to doing business with a site that doesn't have that. Unless you have something that's so uniquely you and there's no way it's a commodity or somebody else has that, that's really tough to earn their business if you don't make it easy for them to buy from you. You also have the opportunity on your site to recommend services. This is an upsell. Understand that if you are in e-commerce, average order value is a number that you need to know, as well as LTV, lifetime value. CPA, cost per acquisition, all those three numbers are vital numbers to the care and success of your business. So if you can recommend other products or even services, let's say you're a plumber, or let's say you're a heating and air conditioning company and you provide monthly maintenance, and then you have the ability to say, do you need additional filters? Do you need additional cleaning things? Do you need to even look at your maybe your solar panels and do solar panel cleaning? So there are other products that they have that will upsell. The more that you can have your customer interact and do business with you, the more loyal they stay. Okay, so building convenience into your website could be just information like you see in the first column. It could be that you're letting them know that you have delivery and shipping that's fast and flexible, or that you actually have that in place. Understand shipping can be very costly, so think about ways that you can help and support them, and that might be a great way to show value to your customer. It also could be virtual consultations. Maybe they need to know how to use this. Understand that 4 out of 5 actual videos that are seen on YouTube are unboxing videos because people want to see what something looks like before they buy it, because they're not going in the store, they're going here first. So they want to make sure they make a good decision. When you can provide virtual consultations and really help them in a place, in a space that they feel comfortable at their own pace, that makes a big difference. So knowing whether or not your website is responsive is really important. So let's do that real quick. Let's take a look at that. I'm going to go ahead and let me take a look at somebody, um, Yummy Pop. Okay, George, I'm going to use your website. Let me see if I don't typo it. Yummypop.com. All right. So let me go to a live demo. There we go. All right, I'm just going to make this. So this is your website. It's popcorn. Awesome, George. So I get to see this. Let's see if you're mobile friendly, mobile responsive. So what I'm going to do, I need to be in a Google Chrome browser to do this. So this is Google Chrome. Okay, understand that's the browser I'm using. I'm going to right click. I'm going to hit inspect. And this is showing me what it looks like on a mobile device. Now, do I have to swipe side to side to read? You bet. All right, now let's make sure, because sometimes, because I'm broadcasting and because it's the internet, things get a little wonky. So I'm going to reload this and try again, because sometimes doing it the second time just make sure that we get everything to load. George, is not showing that it's mobile responsive and mobile friendly. And that is a problem for you in search. Okay. So it's not just a problem for people and their experience with your site, but also because the search engine reads that and it says, nope, we're not going to show you up within the first couple of pages or couple of swipes when you're looking at a mobile device. This is really important, okay, for you to check out whether or not your site is mobile friendly or mobile responsive. And it does show you in the handout that you've gotten into the slides how to do that here. It's really pictured right here on this page, page 29. Now remember what I said about organized, right? So let me look at questions real quick while that's up there. How can I create a coming soon landing page while I'm working on building my site? It really depends on where your site's hosted. Some of that's already built in. Sometimes you just have to throw up a graphic there and say it is coming soon. MailerLite, MailChimp, using email marketing for self-promotion. Yeah, there's so many great tools. Again, looking at what your purpose is, Brian. What is the goal? And what are you measuring for success? Because certain ones are good for certain things. Like Constant Contact is really good for ease of delivery. MailChimp does really good with surveys, but Klaviyo does excellent if you want to know who opened when, on what device, at what time, how often, and did it actually get them to do a success action on your site. So the tracking is a lot different per email service provider. So that's why goals are so important. What about using Venmo? Is it convenient to consumers? It may be for some. I like to give them lots of actions so that they can meet me in whatever payment form is actually working for them. So a lot of times when I'm working with especially e-commerce shops, because they are having to compete so heavily with Amazon and Etsy, I'll tell them, let's put up, 11, 12 different kinds of payment forms. Just make it easy for them so that whatever they have, you can match it. Yes, focus on accessibility is very important. We have a whole actual session on how to make your small business more accessible, which is about how to make your website more accessible. So do look for that. That is the unofficial part 3 of this, but this is part 1. Part 2 is really getting in there and covering where you can actually make some tweaks, and then part 3 really gets into really what's more accessible. But they don't have to be all in order either. We can do these at separate times. So get with your score counselor, because I'm happy to come back. All right. Can't find the PageSpeed Insight you demoed. Where do you find it? Just Google it. Really, that's all I did. I wish I knew the URL, Karen, but I got too many URLs in my head, so I just Google it myself. That's all I look for is PageSpeed Insights by Google. Okay. Thoughts on using Google Sites to create a website? It's great and it's free. Very mobile friendly, very helpful. Doesn't do as much tracking, Laurel, as others, but still really, really good, especially if you are on a tight budget. Okay. Do you have a link to get the slides? Yes, Dee Dee, they're actually in the chat box. Unfortunately, you can't use the chat box, but I hear you can see it. So at least you can copy it there. I posted it just again. What's the quickest way to install all the payment options? It really depends on your site. Again, some sites are easier at it, some take longer. All right, let's jump back in. Some great questions, everybody. I'll look for more in a moment. Let's talk about having an organized site. So information architecture is just that. It is the information and how you're laying it out, because you can see here that some basic sites might have our team or about us, shop, and contact. But let's say that you have lots of products, from gift cards to hot sauce, and people don't want to look through all the products just to find somewhere in there that gift cards are, because they want to buy a quick gift for somebody. So they don't want to worry about trying to look at everything. So if we can organize it and make it easy for them to go to send a gift or gift cards, now we make it easy for them to buy from us, which is our job. Right? So when we organize our site, we put all the most important stuff on top. If you remember back in the day of the newspaper, above the fold is everything most important you want to see. For us now, it's above the scroll. So before they have to scroll, put the most important stuff on top. Make sure visual is really supporting everything and it's easy to get around your site. So you see on this site, you see that to the right, how they shop new releases. You can make it easy to find things by clicking there. In this jam business, Trade Street Jam, you can see that they have things set up to shop and they have different products, maybe even contact. They want to find out how to return something, how to ask questions. Maybe they want to contact who is at the local warehouse because they might be interested in picking the product up. It could be all of those things. Now, Google Trends can help you. We talked about SEO, can help you know what people are looking for so that you can know how to outline your site, because these are the most popular things people are looking for. Now, when you're looking at Google Trends, let's say I'm going to look at popcorn and I'm going to do a quick live demo here. Again, it just takes a little bit for me to do some switching. All right. So I'm going to go to Google Trends. I'll do that just a moment. I'm going to bring my screen live. All right, so this is Google Trends. Again, this is a free tool you can use, and I'm going to look at popcorn. So now this shows me in the last day how many people in the United States are searching for popcorn, and where are they? They're in Nebraska. Nebraska wants popcorn right now. Iowa, what are they talking about? They're talking about popcorn makers. They're wanting to feed their dogs popcorn. You see all of these terms. A breakout term means that it is now just rising popular, so it's before the trend. You're getting in and knowing before the trend, and if you're doing Google Ads, you can utilize this if you were Black & Decker, because you're going to pay the least cost per click because it is not popular yet. And then you can also see those in the rise. So you can even get specific and say, let's say you want to look specifically in Nebraska, and you want to look more than just the past day. Let's see what's been happening in the past 30 days. Now you get a better feel for where people are at, what they're looking for, and what they're talking about. So you can show up where they're already looking. It takes a tremendous amount of time, energy, and money to get people to look over here when they're looking over here. So if you can meet them where their eyeballs already are, and you can show up on their radar, even better. You can research keywords in Google Trends. It can help you organize your site so you have a better site, making it easy for people to shop from you. It can also help you know whether or not people are searching for different words when you use a 404 page that's helpful. See how this one isn't just an oops, but it takes them to hear other helpful links. And I actually have this set up in analytics. This is not by default. This is a special setup in analytics, but I set it up so I know what people are searching for that they might not find on our site. For example, they might had a typo and said pipcorn, but now I find that 25 people come to my site and put pipcorn. I should address that then, because that is something that they're doing on a regular basis, and I don't want them to just not find anything and then have to go to my competitor. It also needs to be trustworthy. All right, so our sites need to be trustworthy. And I know we've got a few minutes beforehand and I'm racing because we did start a little bit late, but I am going to blow through this and understand when you get a copy of the recording, you can slow me down, speed me up, and use the slides to follow along like an outline. So it's important for us to have security. Doesn't matter how good your site is. If it's not a secure site, Google will also penalize you in search, not just Google, any search engine. And of course, you could have different payment forms, which we've already talked about. Your website reputation, having reviews, third-party validation is everything. We actually talk about that in another session. Knowing what your rating is. Do understand that if you are a regular brand business, so not an e-commerce shop, you need to have 60 5-star reviews. And if you're an e-commerce shop, you need at least 120 5-star reviews. So it's double that, 60, 120 to compete on the national stage. So that's why it's important for us to nail that before we scale it and really get our reviews in place. Having contact information is also important, and Google Merchant Center requires it. So that's why you want it there. Okay, we covered quite a bit. We covered how you need to be goal-oriented, how you need to be search-friendly, how things need to be convenient for people, organized so they can figure their way around without them having to do a lot of effort and work. And it needs to be trustworthy, because if they feel like you're a phishing site or some foreign country, they're not going to leave any information, not even their beloved email address. So what are you going to apply now? Let me know in the question box. Are Google ads better than Facebook ads? It depends, again, on who your actual audiences. I know that any of those ads without having your site set up doesn't work. So it does work. It's expensive. So you really need to know your cost per click and your cost per acquisition, and you have to have your goals and conversion in there, which is what I look at and add to Google Analytics. Can the consumer see if your website is not trustworthy? Yeah, if there's no secure lock, At the very top next to your URL, so your website address, yes, they know that it's not secure. If it looks like for any reason your site, like let's say some of your text on your site is off. So let's say we have things aligned and we're showcasing this service and this service, but it's just a little bit off. That's also a signal that we humans pick up that something is off and it's not trustworthy. All right. Now, I'm going to model the behavior that I teach. Whenever you've provided good service or good information, ask for a review. Do you know that 87% of the people would have given you a good review had you asked for it? But because life gets in the way, they're going to go on to the next thing and forget. They have the great intention, but they don't get to do it. You don't have to leave me a review, but I would be honored if you do. And this is how you can contact me. All right. People were asking about contact info, but do get with your score counselor because remember, they're there vested in your success. You can find me at my website. You can find me on Twitter. You can also find me on Instagram, but do connect with me because I would love to see you. You can use the bit.ly link at the very top. That brings up all socials. I'm on all socials. So find the one that you like to spend the time with and we can definitely connect there. Okay. Now it's time for Q&A. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording right now.